Are you thinking about writing a love triangle? Then this video's for you. Love triangles can be a great source of conflict in fiction, but if you don't write them properly, they can be cringeworthy, which we don't want. That's why I'm sharing 4 tips on how to write a not cringy love triangle. So be sure to stick around. Let's get started. Hey guys, Nour here and welcome back to my channel. For those visiting for the first time, hello! I'm the fantasy author of the novel Divinity Falling. Be sure to subscribe for awesome writing advice videos that will take your story to the next level. So, creating a love triangle in your story can be a great way to add conflict. And I honestly love reading love triangles when they're done properly. But more often than not, writers aren't sure how to go about this. So the love triangle ends up being cliche and overly dramatic. So if you're thinking about writing a love triangle, here's how to make sure it's not cringeworthy. Tip number 1, create well-rounded characters. As always, you want to make sure your characters are fully fleshed out. This includes having distinct personalities, goals, and beliefs. When you show readers exactly what your characters are like, it'll be easier for them to understand why they have a connection. For instance, maybe their goals and beliefs align, or maybe they share a similar experience that helps them bond. If your characters aren't fully fleshed out, your love triangle will feel random. In fact, any relationship will feel random if the characters aren't well-rounded. Tip number 2, beware of stereotypes. When we think of love triangles, we often think of the bad boy versus the nice guy, or the CEO versus the small town guy. And while these tropes have worked in the past, they're overdone and that makes them super cliche and predictable. Instead, put a twist to this trope. One love triangle twist I saw recently was that the 2 love interests were the same person, just in disguise. Tip number 3, show why characters are attracted to one another. When you write about 2 love interests, it's important to show why they're into each other. And the same rule applies to love triangles. Just because there's a third person in the mix doesn't mean you could skip this step. So show readers what attracts these characters to one another. The main character might find a certain trait appealing in one character and another trait appealing in the other character. For example, they might bond over a mutual passion with the first love interest, and they might find comfort and safety in the other love interest. Tip number 4, don't make one character the obvious choice. You want your main character to be conflicted about the choice they must make, and you want your readers to also be conflicted. It shouldn't be such an obvious choice that we see it a mile away. For instance, don't make one love interest rude and self-centered while the other love interest is kind and generous. That makes it obvious that the protagonist will choose the latter. Make the decision a bit more difficult so that we feel just as conflicted as the main character. When you do that, you make us invested in the love triangle. So that's all I have for you today. I'd love to know, do you enjoy writing and reading love triangles? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I put out writing advice videos every other Wednesday that will help you take your story to the next level. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media to see what I'm up to from day to day and to chat with me. And before we go, a quick shout out to Sarah Frayne, Alan J. Early, and Noah Kovanti from my shout outs here over on Patreon, as well as all my amazing patrons. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate you. And remember, Nour for president!